Okay, we got something great for you. Whether you are new to camping or you've been doing this 20 years, there is certain etiquette that you need to know before visiting a campsite. It's like those unwritten things that nobody tells you about. Well, we went direct to the source because we don't want to be the ones telling you what you should and shouldn't do, but everybody needs to know these things. So the general manager and assistant general manager are joining us today to tell you all about those things you need to know before you come camping.
Okay, so I'm here with Abby and Brian, the general manager and assistant general manager, and we thought we'd have a conversation about, what was it that you said? Because you said it perfectly.
So etiquette and desirable camper behavior that we'd like to see.
Exactly. So give us, from the campground's perspective, the top 10 unwritten etiquette things campers should know.
First and foremost, I would say paperwork. Make sure you have all of your paperwork up front and ready to rock at the time of check-in.
Trash, that's a big one. Our campground here, we actually will pick it up at specific times throughout the day. Other campgrounds will have a central repository where you put it. But the thing you want to really remember about camping is most campgrounds are in wilderness areas, and where there's wilderness areas, there are animals, and animals like to get into trash. Here it's cute little fluffy raccoons, but if you're in places like Tennessee, they have big bears. So you leave your trash sitting outside your front door of the RV. It's not stinking up your RV, of course, but it may be attracting critters. So keep that in mind. If you're in an area where there are critters, you know, we do the pickups here, but we also have a place where you can drop it off. So if you went out to this beautiful bay here and caught a bunch of crabs and you cooked them up for dinner, the crab shells, they really attract critters too. So
yeah, those bears are coming if you're in Tennessee. If you're here, those raccoons.
Make a mess, but you know, there it might be something dangerous. So something important to remember about trash.
Another thing would be our fire pits. So here at Massey's, we don't really have any type of regulations on what type of wood you can bring. You are allowed to bring your own wood. Some campgrounds, they do not let you bring in outside wood. We do here at Massey's. But a few other things with the fires is do not move your fire rings here at Massey's. There are underground items that could get hindered in the process of moving your fire ring. On top of that, do not try to dispose of anything by putting it into the fire. So trash, including plastic, any of that fun stuff, definitely try to utilize that into the trash cans with the fires. I would not burn trash.
So, and I want to touch on the firewood thing she was talking about, where I've heard a lot of campers, they think it's just a way for the campground to make money by selling firewood. I love going to Tennessee, that's why I mentioned it before. Areas of Tennessee and Virginia and some places down south, if you bring firewood from your local area to that area, they've had issues with, I think it's called the ash wood borer beetle. They get transported from place to place, and it actually destroys the local forests. Mm-hmm. So it's not just it could be the campground's trying to make money off you, but it could also very likely be an environmental concern that you don't want to transport wood and treat it like an agricultural product. You don't want to move it from one place to another because there may be an environmental impact.
Okay, those are really good things to know, because people shouldn't just assume that you're trying to make money. There are a lot of other issues attached to that, so good thing to know.
Hey, we hope you're enjoying this video, but please take a minute, click that like button and support the channel. It's really important. Let's get back to our previously recorded show.
So a big one that I like to tell folks is weather is something that's part of camping. We'll get a lot of people that they think it's going to rain this weekend, so they want to cancel. Well, a lot of campgrounds won't allow you to cancel last minute because of things like weather. I want to impress upon people that camping in the weather's not a bad thing. You know, if it's raining, you know, you can have just as much fun splashing in mud puddles as you can sitting on a beach. You know, the weather, cold weather is actually a good thing. A campfire feels better when it's cold. You know, if it's 95 degrees outside, you can't sit around a campfire because you're going to sweat. So when it's cold outside, a campfire is great. That's a really important part of camping.
I myself have a cute little Labradoodle named Charlie. Hi Charlie, I hope you watch this. But one of the biggest things with pets in general, we love all dogs. Massey's Landing is very, very pet friendly. But the biggest thing that we find here is people do not pick up after their pets. Whether it's on our beach or in our dog park, the biggest thing that we ask you guys, and I'm sure I'm speaking on behalf of all of the campgrounds that are pet friendly, please, please, please pick up after your pets. We have cute little pickup stations that offer bags for you, so you guys don't even have to worry about that. So please, always pick up after your furry friend.
And leashes are important too.
Oh yeah.
Leashes are very, very important. There are some campers who are intimidated by dogs. Not me, but you know, there are folks who don't like dogs at all, and if they see your dog off the leash, even if they're perfectly well behaved and perfectly, they follow every rule, they won't, you know, if you tell them to sit and stay, they're not gonna move, but there are other campers who don't feel comfortable with that. So keeping your dog on a leash, very, very important, and makes the other campers feel safe as well.
Which is totally fair, as us having a dog as well. I can't imagine. He is the nicest little thing, but I couldn't imagine making somebody else feel unsafe or feel insecure about our dog. It's not fair. So everybody should absolutely do that. And you guys do an amazing job keeping this place clean, and it's important for everybody else to as well.
All right, another big campground etiquette to kind of take advantage of is do not walk through people's sites. So when you guys finally pull onto your beautiful parking pad for your vacation, that is your new home for your length of stay. And we always ask that, you know, whether you're on a bike, golf cart, you're on foot, you never cut through people's sites. It's always best to take the long way around, because here at Massey's, that's always the scenic route too.
A big thing that I like to tell people about camping etiquette, like Abby just talked about, not cutting through sites, so that's the negative of how you treat your neighbors, but there's also a big positive on how you treat your neighbors. Camping is a very social event. If you go someplace and you just stay inside the confines of your RV and your awning, you're not gonna have a good time. You gotta get out, you gotta talk to the staff, you gotta talk to your neighbors, you know, cook something that smells really good and attract people to come to your campsite and offer to share. A little difficult right now with what we're going through, that you don't really want to share your space with others, but
we'll be back to that again soon.
Yeah, that won't be forever.
Yeah.
But even now, you can still share a conversation with someone at a social distance with your mask on. You know, you can still share that connection with your fellow campers. And if you're a brand new camper and you're having trouble with something, you can always step over to a neighbor and say, hey, do you know anything about this thing? You know, I can't get my landing gear to come down, or I can't get my sewer hose to connect properly. I can't get my television to do something. A lot of times campground managers are not allowed to work on your equipment. In fact, most of the time, for liability reasons, we can't even go into someone's camper. Right now with COVID, that's a reason, but even still, we're not allowed to go into someone's camper and work on things for them because we're just not permitted to. So, you know, making friends with your neighbors and getting advice, watching YouTube videos on how to do things with your video.
Good call.
Yeah, watching videos like this and doing some research on your particular camping unit, a really big thing. But making friends with the people around you, always a good thing.
And some people, you know, have made lifelong friends at campground.
Exactly.
So definitely get out there, meet people, say hi, and you know, just be friendly.
Another thing is when you guys arrive, now some people, normal people, work Monday through Friday, so it's a little hard to try to get to a campground around the time of check-in. Here at Massey's, check-in is at 3. And to kind of maintain that check-in time and that noise etiquette time, it's always best, and for new campers, I can tell you, for new campers, it's always best to try to get to your campground during the day. That gives you the daylight visual of what you're getting into. That gives you the daylight opportunity to talk to a staff member that could just be riding around that, you know, at that minute, at that time. It's not super beneficial for new campers to arrive later in the evening, although some campgrounds might have that staff after hours. But a lot of the times I tell any new camper, just come here during the day, because we have camp hosts that will be willing to escort you to your site. We have maintenance guys that would be willing to help you connect to your site. So it's always best for new campers to try to arrive to the campground when it's daylight out.
Okay, so this is my personal question as a new RVer. Sometimes when you have like the camp host or somebody's coming out, like the guy will bring you your firewood out to the, like, is tipping appropriate or not, or expected or not? Like, sometimes I feel like I should be, but I have no idea what's going on. So I thought I'd ask the people who run it. We're used to going to
hotels and stuff like that. Like, do you do that here as well?
So I will say that's one thing that we go over at orientation with our staff. We will never tell our staff no, but we always expect that courtesy of our staff to say, oh no, ma'am, sir, you don't have to do that. From a talking to the campers, yes, if you guys feel like they deserve a tip, you guys feel like they exceeded your expectations, not only tip them, but also go on our social media sites and rant and rave about them.
Right.
That's an even bigger one. And although tipping is great because it has that monetary value, whereas the reviews and everything just gives you a good pat on the back, the tips are solely up to you guys. And one thing is, guys, always call if you do not know. Never assume. It's always best to call and ask questions that we didn't cover on in here. The only stupid question is a question that was not asked. It's always easiest to pick up the phone, call that campground specifically if you have specific questions about a site type, about unwritten rules, or things that campers usually do down there. It's never a bad idea if there was something we didn't cover in here for first-time campers. Always call. Massey's is always willing to answer whatever questions you guys have, because there is a lot, and there's a lot at Massey's that we can't fit into a YouTube video that we want all of our guests to be able to enjoy.
That goes for all campground managers and owners. If you ask any question of anybody in this industry, most of us are here because we love being outdoors. We love camping. We love being around our guests. We want to answer your questions. We want you to know what you're doing. We want you to have a good time because we want you to come back.
Well, it has been awesome for you guys to share this amazing information, especially us as new campers since June. And there's a lot of new campers out there now. Now with COVID, so many people are buying RVs, trying out camping, trying out glamping, all these different things. So this is such valuable information. Abby and Brian, it has been awesome. We appreciate it. And we hope you guys out there appreciate the information and find it helpful.
How could they get in touch with Abby? Because I think that Abby has a hashtag to reach her.
I do. If you guys are watching this YouTube video, make sure you follow Massey's Landing on our Facebook page. You will see myself and Brian doing lives. And if you do watch my Facebook lives, what do I always say, guys? If you're not here, you're not having fun.
Okay, and we will say, see you on the road.
See ya.